Let me ask you something. Why do women always seem to chase the men who don't care about them while ignoring the ones who actually do? You've seen it happen. Maybe you've even been that guy. The one who treats her right, the one who gives her attention, the one who makes her feel special, only to watch her walk away and run straight into the arms of a man who barely lifts a finger for her. And it leaves you wondering, what am I doing wrong? Why do women choose men who don't value them? Listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will change the way you see relationships forever. This isn't just about dating. This is about human psychology, about power, about attraction. If you don't understand how this works, you'll keep playing the game the wrong way and losing every time. By the end of this speech, you will know exactly why this happens, how to shift your mindset, and what you need to do to make women naturally drawn to you without ever having to chase. So stay locked in, because this is the truth nobody tells you. Let's get one thing straight. Women don't fall for kindness alone. They fall for how a man makes them feel. See, when a man shows too much interest too soon, when he's too available, too predictable, too eager, he loses value in her eyes. It's not because she's a bad person. It's because human nature doesn't work that way. Think about it. The more something is given freely, the less we value it. That's why people fight harder for things they have to work for. And attraction works the same way. A man who doesn't value her, who doesn't chase her, who doesn't constantly try to prove himself, he becomes a challenge. And a challenge is exciting. Most men believe women want security, stability, and kindness. And they do, but only from a man they already find attractive. See, many women are drawn to the chase. They don't just want love, they want excitement. They don't just want commitment, they want the feeling of pursuit. That's why a man who keeps his distance, who doesn't overcommit, who makes a woman work for his attention, he triggers an emotional response, and emotions are what make attraction last. If a man is too easy to get, there's no excitement, no mystery, no challenge. And without those things, interest fades fast. Why do people spend thousands of dollars on limited edition sneakers or wait in long lines for the latest iPhone? Because scarcity creates value. Now let's apply that to relationships. If a man is always available, always texting, always trying to impress, it becomes common. But a man who makes his time and energy rare, a man who moves with purpose, who isn't always accessible, now he's valuable. Women don't want a man they can have at any time. They want a man they have to earn. Here's where most guys mess up. They think being overly nice will make a woman love them. But the truth is, a woman doesn't want a man who worships her. She wants a man who values himself, a man who doesn't constantly try to please, who doesn't seek her approval, who doesn't bend over backward just to keep her happy. That man radiates confidence. And confidence is one of the most attractive qualities a man can have. When a woman sees a man who puts himself first, who moves with certainty, who isn't afraid to walk away, she respects him. And respect leads to attraction. Now, here's where it gets deep. Some women, especially those who have never had a stable relationship, mistake emotional chaos for passion. A man who treats her well, who's always kind and consistent, may feel boring to her. But a man who gives her highs and lows, who keeps her guessing, who makes her feel like she has to fight for his love, that creates an emotional roller coaster. And that roller coaster is addictive. That's why some women keep going back to men who treat them poorly, because the emotional ups and downs keep them hooked. Now, does this mean you should start treating women badly? Absolutely not. But it does mean you should stop being too predictable, too available, too eager to please. Women don't want a man who needs them. They want a man who chooses them when he feels like it. So how do you stop being the guy who gets taken for granted and start being the man she craves? It all starts with self-respect. Stop chasing. The more you chase, the more she runs. Stop over-investing. Give her the space to miss you. Become the prize. Build your confidence, your goals, your life, so that she has to prove she's worthy of you. Because here's the truth. The man who values himself over any relationship is the man who controls the game. Now I want you to take a deep breath and ask yourself, are you the man who gives too much or the man who knows his worth? Because the moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop putting women on pedestals, the moment you start valuing yourself above all else, everything changes. You won't have to beg for attention. You won't have to prove your worth, because women won't just notice you, they'll chase you. So the question is, are you ready to become that man? Most men believe that if they are kind, attentive, and devoted, women will naturally reciprocate with love and loyalty. It seems logical. Treat her well and she will appreciate you. But in reality, this approach often backfires. Instead of drawing women closer, it pushes them away. The more a man shows his feelings early on, the less appealing he becomes. This is not because women dislike kindness, but because attraction doesn't function the way most men assume. Women do not respond to love alone. They respond to a combination of emotions, mystery, and the feeling of earning a man's interest. When something is given too freely, it loses value. Human nature dictates that we cherish what we have to work for and overlook what is handed to us effortlessly. This applies to relationships as well. When a man is too available, too predictable, or too eager to please, he unintentionally diminishes his worth in a woman's eyes. There is no excitement, no challenge, no sense of pursuit. Attraction at its core thrives on uncertainty, anticipation, and unpredictability. Women become more interested in what they must earn rather than what is readily available. This is why a man who does not overly invest in a woman right away often appears more attractive. He's not desperate for her validation, nor does he need constant reassurance. He moves with confidence, displaying an aura of independence. He does not act as though she is the center of his world before she has truly proven her value. This creates a psychological shift. Women find themselves wanting to win him over. They begin to wonder why he isn't behaving like every other man who immediately showers them with attention. That curiosity builds intrigue, and intrigue builds attraction. On the other hand, when a man is too accommodating, too available, or too emotionally expressive before a strong foundation has been built, a woman may begin to feel suffocated. She starts to question why he is so eager to please. Is he trying to buy her affection? Does he lack confidence? Why does he seem so desperate for her approval? These subconscious thoughts diminish her attraction. Instead of appreciating his kindness, she feels less compelled to reciprocate because there was no real challenge involved. Men who understand this dynamic do not play the game of over-pursuit. They recognize that maintaining a sense of self-respect and emotional control is far more effective than excessive displays of affection. They do not rush to impress a woman or seek validation from her reactions. Instead, they focus on their purpose, their goals, and their personal development, knowing that the right woman will naturally be drawn to them if they hold themselves to a higher standard. A man who values himself does not need to chase. He allows the relationship to develop organically, giving the woman space to invest in him just as much as he invests in her. This equal exchange of effort ensures that attraction remains strong and balanced. Women do not truly desire men who neglect them or treat them poorly. They desire men who command respect and refuse to place them on a pedestal before they have earned that position. Most men grow up believing that women want kindness, stability, and security in a relationship. And while that is partly true, the mistake many men make is assuming that providing these things too soon will automatically make a woman fall in love. In reality, attraction is not built on comfort alone. It is built on emotions, tension, and unpredictability. This is where the thrill of the chase comes into play. Women do not just want love, they want excitement. They want a man who engages their emotions, keeps them guessing, and makes them feel like they're working for something valuable. When a man is too predictable, too eager, and too available, there is no challenge. And without a challenge, there is no excitement. This is why many women find themselves drawn to men who seem distant, hard to get, or even emotionally unavailable. It is not necessarily because they enjoy being neglected, but because those men present a psychological challenge that triggers their natural desire to earn attention and affection. Think about how human nature works. When something comes easily, we take it for granted. When we have to work for something, we value it more. This applies to relationships as well. If a man constantly chases a woman, texting her first every day, complimenting her nonstop, and always making himself available, he removes any sense of mystery or excitement. She knows she already has him, and that knowledge takes away the desire to pursue him further. But when a man holds back a little, when he is not always available, when he does not respond instantly, when he prioritizes his own life instead of dropping everything for her, something interesting happens. She starts thinking about him more. She starts wondering why he is not chasing her like every other man. She starts craving his attention because she no longer has it guaranteed. This psychological trigger makes her more interested in him, and suddenly she is the one chasing. Now, does this mean a man should play games or intentionally ignore a woman just to manipulate her emotions? Absolutely not. The key is balance. A man should not be cold or dismissive, but he should also not be overly eager. He should be interested, but not desperate. He should engage, but not overinvest too soon. This keeps the dynamic in a healthy place where she feels excited to earn his time and attention, rather than simply being handed it without effort. The reality is that most women do not consciously seek out men who treat them poorly. They seek out men who trigger strong emotions, and unfortunately, many of them mistake emotional turbulence for passion when a man creates emotional highs and lows by being unpredictable, by not always being available, by making her work for his affection. He activates a deeper level of attraction. This does not mean a man should be rude or distant, but it does mean that constantly being too available, too eager, and too giving can have the opposite effect of what he intends. The thrill of the chase is not about manipulation. It is about human psychology. A man who understands this will stop chasing, stop over-pursuing, and instead create an environment where attraction builds naturally. When a woman has to put in effort to win a man's attention, she values him more. And when she values him, she respects him, and respect is the foundation of true, lasting attraction. Respect is the foundation of any strong relationship, yet many men unknowingly sabotage their chances by giving too much too soon without first ensuring that respect is established. A woman cannot truly love a man she does not respect. And respect is not given freely, it is earned. The problem arises when men prioritize a woman's affection over their own self-worth. They bend over backwards, say yes to everything, and tolerate disrespect in hopes of winning her over. But instead of appreciating these efforts, the woman often loses interest. Why? Because respect is not built on excessive giving. It is built on boundaries, strength, and self-assurance. A man who values himself does not allow a woman to treat him however she pleases. He does not accept disrespect, nor does he prioritize her feelings over his dignity. Women are naturally drawn to men who have standards, men who command respect through their actions, not their words. A man who respects himself forces others, including women, to do the same. Many men operate under the illusion that being overly nice, constantly available, and always agreeable will make a woman love them more. They fear conflict, so they avoid setting boundaries. They fear rejection, so they tolerate behavior that makes them uncomfortable. But in doing so, they communicate one thing loud and clear: I do not value myself. And if a man does not value himself, why should a woman? A woman may test a man in various ways, sometimes consciously, sometimes subconsciously. She may push his limits, disrespect him in small ways, or see how much she can get away with. This is not necessarily because she is cruel, but because she wants to know what kind of man he is. Does he stand firm or does he crumble? Does he tolerate disrespect or does he walk away? Women admire strength, not weakness. When a man enforces his standards and refuses to compromise his self-respect, she may resist at first, but deep down she will respect him more for it. On the other hand, when a man lacks boundaries and allows himself to be walked over, attraction fades. Women do not want a man who puts them above everything, especially at the cost of his own integrity. A man who is too eager to please often comes across as weak, and weakness is unattractive. It's not about being aggressive or controlling. It's about having the confidence to know your worth and the discipline to uphold it. The key is not to seek validation from a woman, but to establish yourself as a man of value first. Women are naturally drawn to men who have a sense of purpose, who know what they stand for, and who are not afraid to walk away from situations that do not align with their values. A man who demands respect by the way he carries himself, by the standards he sets, and by the way he responds to challenges is far more attractive than one who seeks approval at any cost. If a man wants a woman to truly desire him, he must first respect himself. He must understand that love without respect is fleeting, and that no amount of chasing, pleasing, or sacrificing will create lasting attraction. Women want a man who knows his worth, a man who does not need their validation to feel complete. Confidence is one of the most powerful qualities a man can possess, yet so many men misunderstand what true confidence really is. Many believe that confidence is about being loud, flashy, or dominant. Others think it means always having the right words to say or never showing vulnerability. But true confidence is much deeper than that. It is not about arrogance or trying to prove something to others. It is about a deep, unshakable belief in oneself, regardless of external validation. And women can sense this instantly. A confident man does not chase validation because he does not need it. He does not seek approval from a woman because he already knows his worth. He does not act desperate because he understands that his value does not depend on whether or not a woman chooses him. This level of self-assurance is incredibly attractive because it communicates strength, stability, and independence, qualities that naturally draw women in. On the other hand, a man who lacks confidence will constantly seek reassurance. He will text too much, always be available, and try too hard to impress. He will put a woman on a pedestal and act as though her attention defines his worth. And while he may think he is being romantic, what he is really doing is showing insecurity. Women pick up on this immediately, and instead of appreciating his efforts, they start losing interest. Confidence is not about playing games or pretending to be something you're not. It's about genuinely believing in yourself. It's about knowing that if one woman is not interested, another will be. It's about having the strength to walk away from situations that do not serve you. A confident man does not beg for attention, because he understands that attraction should be mutual. He does not settle for someone who does not see his value because he knows his worth is not up for negotiation. The reality is that women are not necessarily drawn to men who treat them badly. They are drawn to men who command respect. And a man who values himself does not overpursue, does not beg for attention, and does not lower his standards to keep someone around. He moves through life with purpose, focusing on his own growth, his own goals, and his own mission. And because of this, women naturally gravitate toward him. There is a reason why women often chase men who seem less available. It is not because they enjoy being ignored. It is because those men exude confidence in a way that is undeniable. They are not emotionally dependent on a woman's approval, and that makes them more desirable. When a woman senses that a man is centered in himself, that he is comfortable with who he is, and that he does not need her to feel whole, she becomes more intrigued. She wants to earn his attention rather than simply receiving it without effort. A confident man knows that he is the prize. He does not waste time chasing people who do not reciprocate his energy. He does not allow his emotions to be dictated by someone else's level of interest. And most importantly, he does not let fear of rejection control his actions, because he understands that true confidence is not about getting every woman he desires. It is about being the kind of man who naturally attracts the right kind of woman without ever having to beg for it. Emotional control is one of the most overlooked yet powerful traits a man can possess. In the world of relationships, the men who struggle the most are often the ones who let their emotions dictate their actions. They become reactive instead of composed, desperate instead of detached, and needy instead of self-sufficient. Women, whether they realize it or not, are naturally drawn to men who can remain calm, collected, and in control, especially in moments of uncertainty. Many men make the mistake of thinking that showing intense emotions, whether it's through excessive affection, constant reassurance, or immediate reactions to a woman's actions, will make her feel more connected to them. But in reality, what often happens is the exact opposite. When a man cannot control his emotions, he becomes predictable, and predictability kills attraction. Women do not want to feel like they are emotionally leading a man. They want to feel like they are in the presence of someone who is stable, composed, and unshaken by outside forces. Think about how people react to pressure. When life throws challenges at you, do you panic? Do you react impulsively, or do you take a step back, assess the situation, and move with calculated precision? A man who lacks emotional control will react immediately, often out of fear or insecurity. If a woman pulls away slightly, he chases harder. If she does not reply right away, he double texts. If she tests him with a difficult situation, he overcompensates, trying to prove himself. But all of these actions communicate one thing: emotional weakness. Women are biologically wired to seek out stability. In relationships, they subconsciously look for a man who can provide security, not just financial or physical security, but emotional security. A man who is emotionally reactive does not provide that security. Instead, he creates instability. He makes her feel like she has control over his emotions. And once that happens, respect starts to fade. On the other hand, a man who masters emotional control never gives his power away. If a woman pulls back, he does not panic. He continues living his life. If she tests his patience, he does not react emotionally. He maintains his composure. If she tries to provoke a response, he remains steady, knowing that his value is not dependent on any one interaction. This type of control is intoxicating. It shows strength. It shows self-respect. It shows that he is not easily swayed by the ups and downs of emotions, and that alone makes him stand out from other men. Many women will unconsciously test a man's emotional strength. They might pull back to see how he reacts. They might challenge his confidence to see if it is real. They might create moments of tension just to feel something. A weak man will crumble under these tests. He will become anxious, reactive, and overly emotional. But a strong man will pass the test effortlessly because he does not need external validation to feel secure in himself. In the end, emotional control is not about being cold or distant. It is about understanding your own power. A man who can regulate his emotions, who does not allow his mood to be dictated by a woman's actions, and who remains unshaken in his own confidence, is a man who commands respect. Women are not drawn to men who lose themselves in emotions. They are drawn to men who remain steady no matter what storms come their way. A man's purpose is his ultimate source of power. It defines who he is, where he's going, and what he stands for. Yet too many men lose themselves by making a woman their purpose instead of focusing on their own mission. The truth is, a woman does not want to be the center of a man's life. She wants to be a part of a life that is already moving forward with or without her. When a man places his entire identity in a relationship, he unknowingly destroys the very attraction he hopes to build. Women are naturally drawn to men who have direction. A man with a purpose is focused, driven, and disciplined. He is not sitting around waiting for a woman to complete him. He is already complete. His mind is set on his goals, his ambitions, and his vision for the future. This does not mean he ignores relationships or avoids love, but he understands that his purpose must always come first. A man who is consumed by his mission becomes magnetic. Women see him as valuable because his time and energy are not easily given away. On the other hand, a man who lacks purpose quickly loses respect. He becomes too available, too eager, and too dependent on a woman's attention. His world revolves around her, and that level of attachment makes him less desirable. When a woman senses that a man is lost, she may tolerate him for a while, but deep down she cannot admire him. She may even test him, pulling away to see if he has anything else in his life. If he chases desperately, it only confirms her suspicion that he has no greater mission than her. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who lacks ambition. A man on his purpose does not beg for attention because he is too busy building. He does not waste energy over analyzing a woman's actions because he is focused on his own path. If she wants to be a part of his journey, great. If not, he keeps moving. This mindset is powerful because it communicates that his value does not depend on her approval. It shows strength, confidence, and independence, all of which are highly attractive. Women do not admire men who put them above their dreams. They admire men who chase their dreams and invite them along for the ride. A man who leads with purpose sets the tone for the relationship. He does not get thrown off course by emotions, games, or tests. He stays committed to his goals, and in doing so, he naturally commands respect. The greatest mistake a man can make is thinking that making a woman his everything will make her love him more. In reality, it does the opposite. The moment she feels that he needs her more than he needs his own growth, the respect starts to fade. She does not want to be a man's world. She wants to be with a man who has a world of his own. A man who is driven, focused, and relentless in his pursuit of success will always stand out. Women will naturally gravitate toward him, not because he is chasing them, but because he is chasing something greater than himself. At the end of the day, a man who truly understands his value does not need to chase, beg, or prove himself to anyone. Women are naturally drawn to men who respect themselves, control their emotions, and live with purpose. The moment a man realizes that his worth is not defined by a woman's attention, he gains the power to attract the right kind of woman effortlessly. The truth is, attraction is not about being overly nice, constantly available, or sacrificing your standards just to keep someone around. It is about being a man of strength, someone who leads his own life with confidence and discipline. When you master your emotions, stay committed to your goals, and refuse to tolerate anything less than mutual respect, you will naturally command attention without even trying. So if you ever wonder why some men seem to have women chasing after them while others struggle for a second glance, the answer is simple. Women admire men who do not put them above their own self-worth. They respect men who value themselves, who walk away when necessary, and who remain unshaken in their purpose. Because in the end, a man who does not seek validation is the one who gets it the most.